count my guap, count my guap. Can I stop coming in, coming in? Put up in a drop top, she dropped it. I put up in a drop top, she dropped it. My diamonds dancing high skies, they hold this. My diamonds dancing high skies, they hold this. Yeah, hold up. I don't know what planet I'm on. I'm a king, little bitch, watch the throne. Feel like bottle, I'll top off your arm. Yeah, steady, cause it heavy. Yeah, bitch, I'm ballin' hard just like a maverick. Money stretch long, little bitch like elastic. Now that bitch steady calling me Mr. Fantastic. Yeah, hey, no, I keep a ratchet. If you claim, boy, I turn your ass to ashes. Automatic, doom, 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 little bitch, I'm blasting. Yeah, put you in a casket. Money sits long, it's elastic. I don't know what planet I'm on. I'm a king, little bitch, watch the throne. Feel like bottle, I'll top off your arm. Yeah, hold up, take a moment, count my guap, count my guap. All these racks bumming in, they bumming in. Hold up, hey, count my guap, count my guap. Can I stop coming in, coming in? Put up in a drop top, she dropped it. I put up in a drop top, she dropped it. My diamonds dancing high skies, they hold this. My diamonds dancing high skies, they hold this. Yeah.
Astral worlds, my planet, my home. Clouds too high, the fumes too strong. Mix this cup for way too long. Add it up, don't subtract it. Yeah, pour this safe with me and let's get blasted. Straight up, Lambo drop like a dragon. Can't fall asleep at night cause they attacking. Yeah, I hop in the coupe, go insane. I disappear, go David Blaine. We don't live the same. I feed all my bitches to
Today, we're going to talk about the Frisco Bowl, college basketball winners for tonight, and of course, the squad ride. This is Behind the Lines. Cooper Kupp might be washed. 4 targets, no catches. The guy ran a half a marathon. I've seen 20 tweets about it this morning. The guy didn't do a single thing.
Yeah, that was a frustrating bagel for a lot of fantasy owners.
Is this what we've become down in Blacksburg? Just complacent, happy to be going about our day and being a moose shit program, celebrating a kid getting 1 point against North Carolina A&T? He better fucking score a point. You're playing North Carolina A&T. He's leading college football, Jovan, in every single statistical category for a wide receiver. Every single one. And you don't give that guy the award? Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. At the end of the day, you got to reward teams for winning fucking games. And if they're in a power conference, they're in a power conference. I'm tired of this big dick swinging contest between the SEC, Big 12, Big 10, and ACC. At the end of the day, you got to fucking reward winning. What's going on, chat? Happy BTL Tuesday, episode 604 piece. As always, hold the fry, joined by your 2 hosts, Krabs and Jovan, presented by Bookit Sports. If you're not tracking your bets on Bookit, what are you doing? Start tracking your bets today over there on Bookit Sports. I promise you won't regret it. You'll keep using it. Start holding yourself accountable and tracking your bets on Bookit. Jovan, I hope our listeners tracked their squad rides on Bookit last night because that shit was free.
Sure.
Never in doubt.
Jamal Shad.
Sure. Unbelievable.
You know, it didn't have to be. Didn't have to come down to that. So we could just make a free throw in the fourth quarter. But we got there, and he made the shot. So it's beautiful.
Let's go ahead and take a look at that shot because it was absolutely insane. All right, go ahead and run that clip, Gucci. Unbelievable. Bang!
Goated.
Might as well be a half-court shot. On the move. With the guy right in his face. Didn't matter. Cash it. The bank is open. Unbelievable. Jovan, sometimes it's better be lucky than good. All right, we'll take it. We'll keep the squad ride streak moving and grooving 3 in a row. Let's make it 4 today. All right, keep it simple. Hope you guys tailed. Hope you guys cashed. Hope you tail responsibly. And then I hope you roll over those coins onto tonight's Squad Ride chat. Okay. Shout out OJ Pimpson coming in, dropping a resub. Love to see it. Bang. Let's see some green. Yes, sir. Let's talk about some green plays for tonight. We're going to get you guys right. We got plenty of action, college football, college basketball, NHL, NBA. We're going to talk about it. All of it. Okay. But first, let's go ahead and finish up the recaps here, gents. Let's go ahead and look at the Sharp report. See how we did yesterday. Not my best slate. Wofford melted. The Bears was a shit bet. That under was a better look. Caleb was never throwing a pick. It was always a fumble. And Kirk Cousins, he might be getting benched. Not actually. People are talking about it, though. Jovan, thoughts on your plays, my man? You did a little bit better than me. 2-2-1.
Yeah, everything not Bears related was fine. Frogs were never winning that game, or never winning that game by 13. They honestly should have come a lot closer to losing than they did, especially with Brendan Wenzel not playing, as we found out 5 minutes before the game tipped off. So that was their only chance, I think, to get that game with any sort of margin. And of course, he didn't play and they didn't. So not shocked.
Okay. Yeah, always feels good when you fade your team and you hit the nail on the head there. That was a great play, and it probably should have been even closer, like you were saying. So great
Panthers
play
too. Yes, chat. Honorable.
Sure.
Honorable
Shout out the Florida Panthers on the ice. What a great game. What a great game. Oh, my goodness. You put meat on tape on the Surge stream. You looked Trent in the eyes. You said, hey, I got a winner for you. This shit ain't losing. Florida's getting it done, and they were down 2 goals late in that game, and they came back. They fought. That was probably the best hockey game I've watched maybe all season. Unbelievable. And the good guys got one.
Shout out the plus 850 live bet.
Wow, yes,
Geertz with a perfectly timed live bet. What was that when they were down 4-2?
Yeah, it was 4-2, and they scored like 5 minutes after I played it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Legacies. Geertz might be down.
BCLV.
I was just looking at the live lines, looking at the live total in the Squad Ride, and then I stumble upon the Panthers. I'm like, why not? And then now we're basic.
Worth a sprinkle.
Worth a sprinkle.
Good play, yes. Looks like Freeze15 in chat said he caught that as well. Dubs. Good. You could have been the difference there, locking that in. Gambling gods took care of you. Good to see us get a W there on the ice as well. Okay. Enough talking about the recaps. Can we hop in and talk about something I'm pissed about? Do we have 30 seconds, a minute, maybe a minute and a half here for me to bitch?
Of course we do.
Gucci, run that shit. Is it time to start asking questions about Mr. Number 1 overall pick, Caleb Williams? You know, I'm getting close. I'll tell you that much. An embarrassing performance, not only from him, but from the squad. The Bears are dead. That was a fake sharp play last night, that's for sure. But man, the Bears. I've never seen a team look so stressed out on the field in my entire life. I've never seen a QB look less settled in the pockets. And maybe he's got some PTSD from playing behind that O-line, Jovan. But my goodness, Caleb Williams was never settled in that game. And he overthrew probably 10 wide open receivers throughout that contest. I mean, he was missing people left and right, overthrowing people out the wazoo. Terrible game. He looked bad. He's had a couple good games this season, Jovan, but besides that, overall, Caleb Williams might not be that guy. And he's on the bench fucking complaining, bitching. You know, the camera's going to be on him at all times. You know that. When you're the number 1 overall pick, people got eyes on you. But Jovan, Caleb Williams, man, looked bad last night. He looked stressed out in the pocket, never settled.
Yeah. And I mean, there's been a lot of excuses, I guess, from the Bears fans for him. There's none anymore. The team's not good. Coaching staff's not good. Surely he's got to fucking realize, I saw a tweet earlier this morning, he's got to realize that he's not playing Utah State anymore. He's not. He's trying to make all these plays and extend these plays and do stuff out of the room in the offense, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. He's got to figure it out. So, like, whether that's it's a coaching staff problem, it's a personnel problem, sure, but it's also a Caleb Williams problem. So, figure it out.
Yep.
He's not good. Jaden Daniels is good.
Wow. Love hearing that. The part that pissed me off the most was probably when the Bears scored a touchdown to make it a ball game, and then they took it off the board because the O-lineman didn't report as eligible. That was cool. And then they proceeded to move back every single play and then kick a field goal. That was probably my favorite part of having the Bears +7. What about you, Jovan? Unbelievable.
Probably the same.
They also did that play again to the other side. They rolled him out. He reported, like, way to just show your hand that easy. Like, what else are you going to do with that alignment of fullback?
I mean, they didn't stand a chance against that Vikings team that's still playing for, potentially winning the division, right? So that one still meant something for them. Fake sharp, shit play on the Bears, dead team. They're going to make some serious changes. If they plug in a new coach, new offense, maybe Caleb Williams could thrive. I don't know, but whatever they're doing right now needs to change ASAP. And there will be changes made this offseason. Caleb Williams, you played like shit last night, and that Bears team is atrocious. Oh, terrible. Unbelievable. We got a subby coming in from John Mula for 32 months. Love to see that. W. John, change the vibes here. Stop talking about the moose shit Bears. We can start talking about some winners for today. Okay. Jovan, you want to hop into the Sharp Report?
Sure.
Start talking about some plays? Why not? Let's go ahead and hop in. Talk about our favorite plays, favorite straight bets for today. And I'll get it started out with a college basketball winner. South Carolina +1, +1.5, +2. Doesn't matter. They're going to win this game outright, but I'll take the points. South Carolina's on fire. They won 4 games in a row. Clemson's coming off a loss when they were -5.5 to Memphis in an embarrassing affair. But I'm thinking South Carolina, hopefully after watching that tape, figures out how to maybe score a little bit against Clemson. But I think we can all agree this game's going to be a little low scoring looking at that total. And I think that probably plays into the Gamecocks' hand here. Look, this is kind of a rivalry. These schools are relatively close to each other. And they typically kind of switch on and off with who wins back and forth. Clemson won the last one, South Carolina the year before, and they kind of take turns. I think it's South Carolina's turn here at home, and the spread tells you everything you need to know about this game. Short dog at home against a ranked opponent. I think Clemson loses 2 in a row. Nobody expects it, but I think they do. I think South Carolina's defense shows up and shows out here at home, and they get a big-time win against Clemson. I'll take the points, but we might not need them. They should win this game outright.
Yeah, I'm with you. I have a different play in the game, but I think it leans into the same exact thing. I like the under. And just looking through the college basketball board, easily the line that I thought was the most absurd, just looking over it to see 134.5. Really, down a point from 135.5, which again, I already thought was low. But this is the lowest total that we've seen for Clemson by far, and tied for the lowest total that South Carolina's had all year. And I think the matchup kind of makes sense for it too, just like you're talking about with South Carolina. Really, really good 3-point defense. Clemson wants to shoot a lot of threes. They're going to space the floor a little bit, but it's a tough matchup for them. Like, the only place to really have the edge, I guess you could say, is like on the offensive boards, because Shefflin's a monster, and they'll put a couple guys down there that I guess can counteract like the size of South Carolina, but they're going to make life tough on them. So I like the under, but it's for the same reasons that you like South Carolina.
Okay. I do think those two plays correlate. Loving the Gamecocks on the hardwood this afternoon, or I guess tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern. They get it done. No way Clemson loses 2 games in a row, right? I think they might. And I'm pretty high on Clemson as well, but bad matchup. South Carolina's defense here wins in this game. Okay. I'm sure I could convince you on UNLV as well. Plus 10.5, whatever number you can get here. I think this will be a single-digit ball game. I'm back in the Rebels. I'm back in Deaton Thomas and co. On the road in this game, Jovan. I still believe in what UNLV's got crafting over there. And I really like Deaton Thomas. And against Dayton, coming off that unbelievable win. They're streaking right now. They've won 4 in a row. They're ranked. This Dayton team has been very impressive so far. And they just beat Marquette, who is just a team that never loses and never doesn't cover. So, of course, we have to fade Dayton immediately after that win. You kidding me? And they've won 4 games in a row. They're coming off a couple great performances. UNLV, on the other hand, has not been the greatest start to the season for them. They're sitting at 5-4, but they are coming off a win. I think they take some of that confidence from that Pacific W. And although they haven't covered in about a month, which is pretty crazy, they're 2-7 against the spread compared to Dayton, who's 8-2 against the spread. This could be a perfect regression spot. Buy low on the Rebels, sell high on Dayton after that big-time win. Back Deaton Thomas and co. and a very well-coached UNLV squad to keep this game within single digits. Got to sell high and fade Dayton, who could definitely be fat, happy, and complacent in this ball game coming off that big win against Marquette.
Yeah, love some fat, happy, and complacent spots, Krabs. 100% letdown spot, look ahead spot. Everything clashes together, so I'm in there with you.
Let's go. And then one more nasty play in CBB. I'm going very CBB heavy, but excited to talk about, the ice NBA game, the cup game as well, and then college football too. Jovan, we'll get to it all. But I do like another CBB play for tonight, and it's this nasty under in Kansas State and Drake. Everybody's betting the side in this game. I don't blame them. This is a great game, one of the better ones tonight. You got undefeated Drake. What a great story. Obviously, their coach and best player, Tucker DeVries, go to West Virginia this season. Who takes over at Drake? One of the most winning D2 coaches in college basketball history takes over and brings his entire team pretty much, at least everybody who's good. He brings like 4 or 5 of his starters from that team, and you plug them right into Drake, same system, familiar system, and they're 9-0. They still have not lost a game this season. Unbelievable from the Bulldogs. Kansas State, a team that people were pretty high on this season, kind of disappointed last year after they've been, building up that program and have gotten better and better every year pretty much before last year. Kansas State has not been great this season either. And they're coming off of getting spanked against St. John's, Jovan, in their last game. They're not playing a lick of defense. And if you look at some of their matchups recently, they're scoring a lot of points and their games are going over. They've hit 3 straight overs in their last couple games, Jovan, not playing much defense, and they're scoring some points though. Drake is the exact opposite of a team. And what they're going to bring in this game on the roads is defensive tenacity and heart and grit. And with this total dropping a couple points, and it was already very low, in my opinion, especially with this game at Kansas State, and considering they're coming off a bunch of very high-scoring games, Drake's going to go in there and try to take them off their A game here, Jovan, and slow this game down. They're going to play good defense. They're going to face guard Doug McDaniel. We'll talk about him in a little bit here. And Kansas State's going to try to win this game on the interior. Now, they're going to have a little bit of success because Drake's not that big, but I think it's going to kill some serious clock. They're going to have to put the ball in the hands of some of their guys who are more defensive-minded, and you're going to have to see Coleman Hawkins actually show up and do something for once. And I don't even know if he has it in him. At this point, he's got a 9.5 point square up. Give me a break. That guy's getting paid $1 million right now to play for this team. He can't score more than 10 points. It's an absolute joke. Yeah, he sucks. This total's dropping. It's already weirdly low in my opinion. I thought it'd be in the 140s. The fact that it's this low and dropping tells me that Drake brings their A game. They play some defense. And although they might not win, that definitely looks like the sharp side with that spread coming down from 4.5 to 1.5. And I wouldn't be surprised if they stay undefeated. If they stick to their script and play their game, face guard Doug McBuckets, okay? Make them beat you on the interior. And I think Kansas State's offense is going to struggle. And Drake probably is not going to score much anyways in this game. So this under is nasty. The total's weirdly low. I thought it'd be 10 points higher. The fact that it's dropping, I think it's the sharpest play on the slate. And it's hilarious. You've got a total nasty under in college basketball as well, Jovan, at the same number that I'm excited to hear you talk about.
Yeah, love that. 100% with you. So, I mean, I've already touched on my under a little bit, but yeah, I think that total, I mean, just looking at that line, absurd. Like Clemson hasn't seen a line at 130 anything all season. A lot of theirs have been high 140s or 150s, or God forbid, I think they've had one even higher in the 160s. So that dynamic offense going on the road against a really tough South Carolina defense, if you want to kind of take a guess at which style is going to win out, I think the total tells all in this one at 134.5, which is absolutely absurd, especially for how fast Clemson wants to play. So I think the South Carolina style is going to win out in this one, and this is the type of game they're going to play. They're going to grind it out, slow possessions. They're going to give the ball, I guess, to Ian Shefflin at the top, and he's going to have to play make a little more than they've liked to do in the past handful of games where they've scored a lot of points, but that slows the offense down considerably. So I'm all in on that. I think it's going to be a gross game. That definitely leans into your South Carolina angle, so I'm taking the under. Streak ends tonight in Montreal with the Sabres. 10 in a row. Most of these games they're leading too, so it's been hilarious late game collapses. But now, after a team meeting, not just a team meeting, but a meeting where it's not just like the players and coaches, like higher ups in the organization went to meet them in Montreal, where they're on the road. Granted, not going to act like it's completely across a literal country, but not that far of a trip. But they went on the road to have a little meeting and say, figure it out for pretty much, because this is absolutely horrible what we're doing on a game-to-game basis. So there's no long-term solution there, but on a game-to-game basis, they're minus 130 on the road against the Canadians team that I've talked about for the last couple of games. I guess we faded them a couple of times. Last time might be that Pens game. I mean, where they got 9-2, absolutely smoked in that game. They've actually, I would say, if anybody's actually watched the Canadians for like the last couple of weeks, they've actually played decent hockey, I would say, except for that Pens game. The thing is, they try to get really, really cute. They're starting to get healthier. Like Line is back in the fold. The PP1's been absolutely nasty with him as a part of that as well. But they try to get really, really cute. So like they've honestly been better at breaking down a lot of these tougher defensive teams. Like they played the Islanders and broke them down pretty well with a couple of good goals. Like the same thing with like the Preds. I know the Preds have been pretty awful. And overall, like the stretch of scheduling that they've gone through is pretty fortunate for them. Not that the Sabres aren't that, but when you face a team that makes you get very, very direct, they allow a lot of shots, they'll have a lot of defensive miscues at the back, which the Sabres do. The Habs have not really been good at taking advantage of that. So, like, not that anybody can't take advantage of the Sabres, but this is not the game the Habs have been playing lately. Seeing them minus 130 on the road, especially after the Habs just beat them in a very similar game a couple weeks ago, is very interesting to me. So I think the streak ends tonight, and you're going to get a Montembeault disaster class, which I would love to see.
Do I wish Montreal was on fire right now? And we could take this nasty play and Buffalo would be favorites on the road on a 10-game lose streak? Sure, I do. But look, you got to play the cards you're dealt, right? And this is still a disgusting play that I'm in love with. And it sounds like you're in the locker room, like Nerfy Chad saying in chat, and you're hearing about these team meetings they got on the roads. This is the exact spot to back this squad. Changes need to be made. Go out there and get a win. Hit the reset button. Figure it out. Too much talent on this team.
It's not like they don't have winnable games, because like the Leafs can lose any game. They just came back and beat them a couple days ago with emergency goalie pretty much in net. But from now between Christmas, you're getting Leafs, Bruins, Isles. Not the toughest of schedules, but like the Bruins and Isles are both on the road. I would only assume that this is by far their best chance to snap that streak before Christmas. They don't want to be going with the fam and sitting on 14 games or 14 games at that point. Figure it out. You get it done tonight after the GM and owner comes in your locker room and says, figure it the fuck out. The answers are right here in front of us. Let's win us a ball game on the road.
Yeah, I mean, you could even keep it as simple as just Buffalo on a 10-game losing streak, minus 130 on the road. Give me a fucking break. But I don't think you could have given a better sell job if you tried. Sure. Unbelievable. Poetic. Glorious. Beautiful. All these adjectives describe that sell job. I'm telling. I'm in. I'm sure chat's picked up as well. How can you guys not like that play? Come on. Yeah, any thoughts on do we know what Chelly likes in this game? I know he's a Sabres fan. I'm curious to hear if he's in chats, what he likes in this game, or if he thinks his squad is breaking the streak.
I would assume that Chelly is probably out on the Sabres, period. So I would assume there's a very pessimistic outlook, rightfully so, because they're fucking terrible. But not today.
All right. Let's keep moving and grooving. Jovan, you got an over in this college football game, the Frisco Bowl. Rumor has it you might be boots on ground at this puppy.
Yeah, no fun bidding on the Sabres or an under, super low under in Clemson, South Carolina, but I think this one's going to be fun. Memphis, West Virginia. A lot of people nuking Memphis in this one. I do kind of like the offense of Memphis to have a real show, because West Virginia is a pass funnel defense that's going to be missing, guys. Really the only place that they're significantly shorthanded, obviously there's a coaching change, but they're significantly shorthanded in the secondary, which I don't know how it could really realistically get any worse, because they've been one of the worst pass defenses in all of college football, definitely in Power 4 for the entirety of the season. But their run defense is actually kind of solid. So Seth Hennigan, who is a senior playing his last game as a Memphis Tiger, he's going to be airing it out all game. So I think this is going to be a super entertaining game. On the other side, you also have Garrett Green, who's going to be playing his final game as a West Virginia Mountaineer, and a very dynamic offense against another Memphis defense that's been really bad all season, really bad against mobile quarterbacks as well. And they have a cast of running backs that I think can expose that run defense. So, I mean, these defenses are definitely, I would say, the most shorthanded part of both of these teams going into the bowl game. And then you have two senior quarterbacks that are playing in their finales for both their squads, tenured guys, I guess, on both sides. So I think we're going to get a show. I think it's going to be an entertaining Frisco Bowl, unlike I don't know. Last year was cool, I guess, but it was kind of overshadowed by the fact that we weren't getting the full cast of offensive starters on both sides. And that was the first we saw of Owen McCown taking over at UTSA, which is kind of funny. We're not getting that. Not getting the quarterback making essentially his debut and his tryout for the team next year. We're getting guys who've been here and done that before, trying to send their careers off on a high note. So give me points.
Yeah, I like the play. I like that the total has risen 2 points in the last hour and a half as well. This morning it was sitting at 58.5. Pretty. Right now it's up to 60.5. So love seeing that. I love the prize pick squares for Memphis. We just got to hope that Dub V shows up and gets off the bus in this game, and let's hope they give a hoot enough to put up some points on the board, because I know Memphis is going to carry their weight. But we're going to need Dub V to show up. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a sharp total. It's high. and you're going to talk about Hennigan a little bit more. So I will not spoil. I know we're going to see him again here in a second on the next graphic. So let's keep moving and grooving. We'll go to the prize pick squares. Okay. I got a couple college basketball angles here, Jovan. Going back to my GOAT, Deaton Thomas on UNLV. I've taken him a couple times this year and last year. Last year, he was a freshman reclassified to take over the point guard position at UNLV as a 17-year-old. And if you haven't, watched that team, or if you're not a college basketball guy, I'll just go ahead and fill you in. This kid's talented as heck. He's a stud. And in his sophomore year, he's been pretty good. It's been up and down. He's been dealing with a couple injuries early on in the season. But I think in this game, he's got a great matchup, Jovan. And I think he shows up and shows out for the Rebels in this game. I know they're a live dog. In my opinion, I'm on the spreads. I'll be on that 10.5 against Dayton in a game with a high enough total where I think we're going to see some points. And I think the Rebels will catch Dayton sleeping a little bit in this game. And then Dayton will creep back into it late, probably pull away. And, they're not going to cover, but they'll win the game by a handful of points. I like Deaton Thomas to lead this UNLV offense on the roads. And I'm taking his points and assists. I'll keep the rebounds out of it. He's not a big rebounding guy. But I do like the assist factor in this as well, 20.5. It does not look like the easiest more than, but I think I'm seeing points for the Rebels in this game. And if they're coming, they're going to be either from Deaton Thomas, getting to the rack, getting to the free throw line, which he loves to do. He'll probably have a couple 3-pointers as well, but we know what he's best at. It's diamond, it's dishing the rock. He's a stud point guard, man, and he's going to show that off tonight on the road at Dayton. And he's going to go over his 20.5 P and A, points and assists.
I'm on that.
We got a hype train moving and grooving. Sure.
W5
we got
piece
Blennon.
from OG Sour.
Wow. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5. 5 subbies coming in from OG Sour. Sure. We got Blennon 3, 6, 7 coming in, resubbing as well on Prime. Guys, you get a free subby with Prime. So if you have Amazon Prime, you've not cashed that in on Twitch yet, so you get a free subby per year. Might be smart to use it if you guys want to get rid of those ads. Okay. W. John Mula coming in, resubbing as well. We appreciate you guys. And OG Sour, you're him. 5-unit subby. Let's fucking go. We got a hype train. Love to see it. W Bookit, W Community, WBTL, W Surge. Let's go, OG Sours. Sure we can. All right. Shark Clark said, yes, logged on. And first thing I see is Krabs on Deaton Thomas. We are so back. Yes. We're going to have a great day today betting college basketball slate. Look, it ain't much, but it's honest work. At least we got a lot of games. Not the best slate, but we can make do with this. Okay. And UNLV, they're going to keep this game within a handful of points, Jovan. I don't care what number you guys get on the spread. And Deaton Thomas is carrying them to a close game down to the wire. And then Doug McDaniel, I mentioned him in that under in the Kansas State game earlier, Jovan. I want to fade him. I do think if Kansas State has any success in this game, or if they want a chance to hand Drake their first loss of the season, it's going to be, in the paints. They're going to have to feed their big man. They're going to have to feed, the former Hokie, Dave Nagesson. They're going to have to feed Coleman Hawkins, like I was talking about earlier, because if there's one kryptonite of Drake, it's size. These are D2 kids playing up at a D1 level, and they're smart. They're not going to make mistakes. But I think if Kansas State wants to win this game, it's going to have to be with their physicality. It's not going to be Doug McDaniel out in the three-point arc, shooting the rock and cashing from 3 multiple times. I'm taking his less than 10.5 points. He honestly has not been a major factor of this offense yet, really, this season, besides a couple games. I'm taking his less than points in a game that I love the under in, and I really do think Kansas State's going to emphasize getting the rock down low to the guy who gets paid the big bucks in Coleman Hawkins in this one. So it's not going to be the Doug McDaniel show. He's kind of a microwave anyways. He's pretty hit or miss. And I don't think he's going to get the opportunity once he's getting face guarded by this Drake team that has so much effort. They ooze it on the defensive side of the rock, Jovan. They're going to show up and show out, and they're going to face guard Doug McDaniel. And Kansas State's not even going to try to beat them in the perimeter. They're going to try to beat them on the interior.
Sure. I'm in on that. It's going to be gross games. Gross games.
Had to get a less than involved. Have not been getting enough less than's involved on the prize picks board. That's going to be a change. And we're addressing that right off the rip here today. Okay.
There we go. It's a great start.
Good. What are you cooking up over there on prize picks?
Well, I'll start with going back to Seth Hennigan. Like I said, senior in his last game. So, I love to back that period, but the way West Virginia's defense is built, they're really good against the run. They're horrendous against the pass. When you have Mario Anderson back there for Memphis, frankly, they've been pretty quick to pull the trigger once they realize the defense is not working or the offense is not working in the run game. They will be quick to say, Seth Hennigan, early downs, I'm going to air it out. And it certainly helps when you're facing one of the worst pass defenses in all of college football, but also in Power 4, who is also down a couple in the defensive backfield in the bowl game, which is status of a lot of these teams. But Seth Hennigan is going to be airing out the ball in this game. Not a hot take. Super high total, really bad defenses, and an offense that's built for the air raid. So call it square, call it what you want, but he's thrown for 300 tonight.
Yep.
Then RJ Davis, probably a little harder of a sell for a lot of people because he's king coin stealer. But the thing about Florida, and I like Florida in the game. Don't get it twisted. I'm not on the same UNC sharp play that I think all of Twitter is on today already. Even though the game's in Charlotte. I don't know if people realize that. If it was in Florida, maybe a little different. The line would be ridiculously short, but it's a neutral site game that is pretty much a home game for UNC.
It favors the Tar Heels. Yep.
Favors them a lot. But in the case of RJ Davis and Florida's defense, they are built because Todd Golden is this big analytics guy who kind of sticks to his roots. Like he comes out with the same defensive game plan that's very numbers based. He wants to chase you off the 3-point line. He wants to encourage you to play ISO ball. He wants to make point guards and ball dominant guys go to the rim, which RJ Davis, when he has a lot of his worst games when he's shooting tour dates, it's when he's playing ISO ball, but they allow him to shoot the 3, which is why he's had games this year. I mean, recently where he's gone 1 from 11 from 3, 2 for 8 from 3. And he's not really making much inside, but Florida will let him play ISO ball, let him go one-on-one and work a lot in the mid-range, which is exactly what he's built for and exactly what he does when he's at his best. So I know he shoots tour dates at times, and that's really the bet because in this game specifically, especially with as high scoring of a game, as high total as we have, regardless of how it ends over or under, we know the volume is going to be there. It's just a question of if he's going to make them. I would feel a lot less comfortable taking him if I knew a lot of that production was going to have to be from the 3-point line. But Florida in this entire game, they are going to invite RJ Davis to be the one to beat them because their defense is actually good. They play a lot of high-scoring games. Like, people don't realize that, but if you look at all of their efficiency numbers, they're very good because they stick to a game plan and they want to make you beat them a specific way. They don't want to let you feed the big men in the post, and UNC is pretty undersized, and Condon is a great defender, as well as like Sam Alexis and Ball and anybody else they could bring off the bench. So that's not going to be how UNC is going to beat them. It's going to have to be in transition, getting out super fast, and RJ Davis and Cadeau are the guys that lead that. And it's going to have to be beating them off the dribble and doing a lot of work in the mid-range or in the pull-up game. It's RJ Davis. So I'm taking him today. 166.5 total. High total, sure. Explosive game, sure. One of the most fun games of, I don't know, the entire CBB slate, sure. But you couldn't get a better matchup to do it. So if he shoots tour dates, I'm tipping the cap because he will be shooting the ball a lot in this game.
Pega, if you're talking about the clip that they played on TMA, that was absolutely hilarious. That was awesome. Yeah, we already saw that. That was awesome. Jovan, a couple comments on these two gents. Sure, RJ Davis sells coins, but tonight he won't, and I like the over in that game. I like points, and I lean UNC, but I'm with you. I'm not getting in the way of that Florida Gators train. They are cooking right now. 10-0. They look great. Coach Golden is probably the most locked in I've ever seen him. I'm not getting in the way of that team. And like you said, that line could be a little short because it's being played in North Carolina. Might not be played in Chapel Hill, but there's going to be some more Tar Heel fans there than Florida Gator fans. That's for sure. And Roy Williams is showing up, bringing his posse. So, look, I'm not going to bet UNC. I lean that way, but I'm not doing it. I think it's the fake sharp play of the day today. I do like that RJ Davis points play, though. I like the over in that game. It's the only chance they have to keep it close is if RJ cooks.
I do think this is probably – I might get to the counter with – this is like my square over of the day, which – maybe is one of the biggest games of the day or the best game of the day, whatever you want to call it. It's not usually that, but this one I think it is.
And then Seth Hennigan, passing yards, returning to Denton, Texas, his hometown. He's going to have his entire family there. His last game, his 50th career game in Memphis. That's absurd.
Unbelievable. It's
going to be the Hennigan show, whether it goes well or not. He's going to have the rock in his hands, making plays. They're not running the ball at all. And against that defense, I mean, Dub V's defense, Jovan, they don't have a pulse when they have all their guys playing. When they're healthy, when not everybody's hit the portal, when they have an actual coach. Imagine this defense tonight. Bless their hearts. And as square as that is, I mean, they're not going to have a fucking pulse. They're not going to make a single play on the defensive side of the ball. They got Rich Rod coming into town. And although you might want to think of the angle of, oh, these kids are going to want to prove to the new coach coming in, they deserve to stay or whatever. That's not how college football works anymore. Those kids are already talking to coaches of where they're going to go play next year. Rich Rod's going to bring in his guys. So I think that defense is dead even more than they are normally, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and he won't be there tonight. So He might be there, but he's not coaching. So it's whatever interim coach is going to be at the helm with, I'm sure, some very baseline plays from the previous system. So, I mean, again, I don't know how much worse the defense could get. Even if they're shorthanded, you might as well have put me out there all season. So I don't think it really matters, but they're really bad. They kind of invite you to pass on them. So, Hennigan, finish out your career, brother, with a nice little 300.
I think Memphis wins this game. I know everybody's on them, but I do want to get Memphis involved somehow, some way. And I've had some success with these two-piece greasers, Jovan, of late. I'm thinking about maybe pairing Memphis on the ML with something. Maybe it's, a nasty college basketball play. I know you mentioned a play on the ice potentially. It could be worth a look, right, to pair with on the ML. You want to bring that puppy up?
Yeah, I mean, you'll probably hear it a lot because they're playing the Blackhawks, but Caps aren't losing to the Blackhawks. After they just lost today or yesterday against the Stars on the road. Really good game, really tough game, but bouncing back is today. And it ain't the Thunder. So that's what Trent's spamming.
Yeah, I know. Trent, I do like the Thunder tonight, man, but seeing you in full uni on TMA, that might be final nail in coffin.
Can't have that.
That might be final nail in coffin, respectfully. But yeah, it's got to be OKC. And I even thought about that too. I had that written down in the Sharp report at one point. Memphis ML, OKC ML. I want to get him involved somehow, some way. But as soon as I click that button, Damian Lillard spawning with 50 points.
Yeah.
If you look at the prize picks board in that game, though, definitely looks good for OKC. Looks good for Shy. Does not look too good for the Stars and the Bucks. Giannis and Dame's points didn't really stick out to me as good signs for them tonight.
Well, yeah,
I think it's probably the Thunder,
best
right?
defense in NBA history.
Good point. Yeah, I think it's OKC, but I don't know if I'm going to play it. I could walk you through the entire board on prize picks in the game, bro. It's all of lads. I mean, yeah, I know you're tapped. This is your Super Bowl, Trent. This is literally your Super Bowl.
I've labbed it all. It's crazy. Crazy.
All right, what's the nastiest square up there on the board, Trent, that you think you could sell us on in that game? If you've looked at the entire board for that NBA Cup game tonight, is there a square up there that you were looking at, asking yourself, what the hell is going on? Why is this up here? Why is this at the number that it is?
Brooke Lopez,
Would love
PRA.
to know. Brooke. All right, why don't we pull up that Cup game and take a peep at it real quick since we're talking about it. We're here. Okay, and maybe I know it's not TNT two-piece day. We got one game on tonight, Jovan, but I certainly wouldn't mind crafting up an NBA lineup, whether it's a two-piece or not. Maybe we can get in the lab here, talk about this game for a sec. I'm sure people want some angles. I do lean OKC, all jokes aside. So I just don't know if I can bet it. It's square. But they're locked in right now, and the Bucks are the Bucks. They look like a shell themselves this season. But yeah, unsurprisingly, and Pickett's got about 1.5 mil in this game already. It'll probably be double by the time that game tips off. All the action on OKC, all the action on the over. Not surprised.
Yeah.
Okay. I do think OKC wins the game. I think they're a pretty darn good lay piece. I'm also looking right now at AJ Green, 2.5 points, Jovan. AJ Green is, what is he, the next Pat Connaughton for Milwaukee here? This guy's been balling out for Milwaukee.
Yeah,
Nobody's brought it up once. You've taken him a couple times?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I didn't know AJ Green was getting burned like that. That's awesome. I mean, he's up for a 2.5 goblin points, Jovan, after scoring 18 combined in his last two games. So respectfully, AJ Green, not looking like you're about to have a day. But we can't even fade that square if we wanted to.
Yeah, probably can't.
Let's take a look at Brooke Lopez. Trent was talking about his PRA, I believe. 14.5. Could it be Brooke Lopez day? Coming off his first good game since Nam?
Could be.
What do you think, Jovan?
I don't know, dude. I just think it's Giannis. And it's the obvious answer, but if I'm OKC, the way they defend, I mean, they can put any matchup on Dame or any of the shooters, which I guess Brooke Lopez could be included there on the outside, whether it's going to be Dame, whether it's going to be Middleton, whether it's going to be anybody else. I feel like the strategy would just be let Giannis do whatever the fuck he wants at the rim. Let everybody else get clamped up because realistically, it's not how you're going to beat the Thunder, but they're going to give him that.
Well, he's a taco, so.
I know. I'm aware. But it's one game. So, I mean, what are you going to do? You have Brooke Lopez tacos?
No, it's going to go to Giannis. You're right. Okay. I mean, if you're putting meat on tape for Giannis, I'm not going to counter.
I mean, I'm not dropping meat. It's just like that's the matchup, I guess, that makes the most sense in my head. Talking about this game, because it's probably not much else that I would like to take for the Bucks.
Okay. God, I guess we could fade AJ Green tonight, Jovan. He's got some other squares up there. Is that something we really want to sign up for today?
Definitely be down for that.
He's got a 9.5 PRA. 4.5 3-points attempted square. I mean, look, it's not rocket science. Like, this is the championship for the cup here. So he's probably not going to get as much burn as he has been, right?
I mean,
he's not even going to be out there on the floor.
Probably would have to be.
You think he's going to have to be?
Might have to be.
If you wanted to fade AJ Green, Jovan, how would you do it? Would it be that 9.5 PRA and just fade him overall?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. I think Trent's talking about Lou Dort in the chat. Would love to give that a peep. See what squares he's got up. 1.5 3-pointers made. That's green as ma.
Gob.
Krabs, Falcons, Manders, flex to Sunday Night Football. Oh my God.
Is that this week?
No, we played the Eagles this week. It's probably in the following week.
I was about to say, no way we got booted.
I think that's on the 29th.
Huge.
Wow. I'll tell you guys what my buddy was talking about in our DC group chat last night. He said, wouldn't it be something if Kirk Cousins ends our season? Especially after the season he's had. Kirk Cousins potentially getting benched. Kirk Cousins going back home. You like that? You like that? Very familiar place where he's had some serious success. Wouldn't that be something? That gives me nightmares. Oh, Jesus, that scares me. Pretty much the Commanders have to win one game in their next 3 to make the playoffs. It's not going to be easy, but gosh, that's fire. We got flex to Sunday Night Football. As sketchy as that is, I don't care. That's fucking awesome. Good. The pressure's on. Hey, JD5 will show up. Yeah, he better. There's got to be some weird 3-point squares up in this game, huh?
Feels just always Isaiah Joe.
Why is he first one up there, huh?
Well, because he's one of the only 2 regular squares with him and Gary Trent.
He's ahead of Gary, who's got people playing him.
Yeah, because he's green as ma.
What do you think, Trent? You getting Isaiah Joe to bang 2 threes tonight? Gary Trent had the whole world bitching.
He did. He's just way too green, though, dude. Way too green.
Yeah. Probably good on that.
Isaiah Joe's at least. He's also got the 3-point attempted square up at 4. After just a crisp 0 for 1 last game. No one's betting Gary Trent in a cup game. He's literally on Pop Tab, Fat Girls, with 11K on him. One of the most popular squares of the day.
Do you like Isaiah Joe attempts, or you like his 1.5 threes? What are you thinking?
I mean, I would probably go for the 1.5 threes. I would love that.
Okay. I could get behind that. What else? Somebody else give me a Thunder square in the chat. Right now we got a couple squares in here. Giannis
Trent.
points.
Trent, he's the only 3-point square that is on Pop Tab. The only one. Only one. So it's something.
Giannis points. AJ Green less than PRA. Isaiah Joe more than 1.5 3-pointers made. Hartenstein.
Be Hartenstein.
Whoa, look at his fantasy score. What the fuck? Is Isaiah Hartenstein turning into Shaq tonight?
Might be Shaq.
We could run Isaiah Joe and Isaiah Hartenstein. Wouldn't that be something?
Wow, the Isaiah two-piece.
Huh.
The Isaiah two-piece could be incredible.
That might be meant to be, Jovan. And we could keep Giannis square ass out of here, and we can keep fading the goat AJ Green out of here. That might be meant to be.
I could be so down for that.
Isaiah Joe, more than 1.5 3-pointers made. What would you take for Isaiah Hartenstein? Would you take his fantasy score? Would you take his PRA? I kind of like his fantasy score.
Oh, yeah, they're both in the Thunder. We'd need other squares. But yeah, I'm down for that fantasy score.
The different colored jerseys throw me off.
Yeah.
You want to take his fantasy score, though?
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Okay. That's the one that's sticking out to me that looks the weirdest. Let's hope he doesn't turn the rock over. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So, yeah, we got 2 OKC squares. Oh, W. Goots. W. Goots Nug in the ear. AJ Green getting bumped up on his PRA. All right, that makes that decision a little easier. Up to 10.5. We got to find a Milwaukee Buck. And maybe it's just squaring up for Kitch and taking Giannis when the lights are brightest, right? Who else is showing up for that team?
There's really not many options here.
Now, let me throw a name out there. If you don't like it, you can throw it right back. Okay? Lights are bright. Turn to your goats. Who deserves it more than Bobby Portis? Who deserves the rock?
Wow.
When the Bucks need a bucket, you go to old reliable Bobby Portis.
You could be in duff with that, Krabs.
Who's to say Bobby doesn't show up once again when we're all huddled around the TV watching the one solo game tonight and it's just the Bobby show?
Could so be in duff.
Could it be the Bobby show? What do you think, Trent? Can't believe you're not trusting me here. All right, give me the square. Lopez had a 2.5 blocks and steals on board. Shit was more red than Ma. They took it off. Look at how high his fantasy is.
Yeah,
I'm listening.
It's the under, bro. No shit, they took it off.
Shit, now we're in a pickle. Do we trust the Thunder sharp?
I mean, we need a square, so I guess, yeah, put a square in there.
Trent, what is it? Meat on Tabe, alien death beam pointed right at you. And you need to give us a green square for Milwaukee tonight. Is it Brooke Lopez? Is it Brooke?
Two racks on Brooke Lopez. Crazy, bro.
Is it his PRA or fantasy score? It's fantasy score. I mean, his 7 field goals attempted looks good to me. I know he's coming off one good game. I think we put him in here. We trust. He's been in the lab for 7 hours this morning for just this one game. If there's any time to give him a shot, it's today.
Might be.
Okay. Krabs, peep Jalen Williams assists. We already got some OKC squares, though. Why don't we put Brooke Lopez more than fantasy score in this puppy for now? Okay. We'll put that in here. And I'll take a look at that square that was just brought up. Jalen Williams, assists, or Taurean Prince. Whoa. Jalen Williams might turn into CP3 tonight. Looking at that square. Jesus. Huh. Okay. Interesting. And then Taurean Prince was brought up in chat. I don't know if I can roll with Prince, man. I'll be honest.
I mean, if you're looking for one of your nasty fades, could be Andre Jackson.
He has 16 PRA coming off in his last game there. Okay.
Greater than Pa, dude.
I kind of like this 4-piece with 3 OKC Geysermans and then Brooke Lopez chilling. Let me know what you think about this. Oh. Goots is saying AJ Green got bumped back down. Did. Okay. Here's what I'm looking at right now. There's 5 squares, Jovan, that are looking at me funny. I would love to help us cut this down. Or we could send a 5-man flex. But Isaiah Joe, more than 1.5 3-pointers, mate. Definitely like that one.
Right.
Isaiah Hartenstein, more than 34.5 fantasy score.
Right.
Jalen Williams, more than 5 assists.
Okay.
Brooke Lopez, more than fantasy score. And AJ Green, less than PRA.
That could be the difference.
That could be a 5-piece flexer that gets us to the counter. Gives us a little wiggle room as well, right?
Dude,
Flex piece.
I'm so in on that.
All right, I'm locking it. NBA Cup 5-man. I'm in.
NBA
You guys
Cup
want the link?
5-man.
Here.
Power play? Forgot we could do that now.
I already flexed it. Fuck. 100 to win a grand. That's all right. That plays. That pays. Chat, if you guys want to tail, here's the lineup link in the chat. Okay? Trent, we put Brooke in there, man. I'm trusting. All right, we'll see how it goes. For now, let's get off the NBA game. We just spent plenty of time on that. Okay? You want to talk about the ice? Where do you want to head next?
Yeah, we can glaze over the ice real quick.
Sure. Let's take a peep. Make sure we're not missing anything like when we went over the ice last night and came across the Panthers, right?
Right.
Ended up working out pretty well. Caps ML, I certainly might end up pairing them with Memphis on the gridiron. I would not be shocked. I feel like that's meant to be. And if Jovan comes to me and tells me the Caps aren't losing, what am I supposed to do? I'm only a man, right? I would love to bet on my team and root for them tonight coming off a loss. And they probably shouldn't be laying minus 200s on a back-to-back. I don't care who they're playing, right?
Yeah.
Sabres ML has to be played. Legally obligated, like chat was saying, right? We have to play it as favorites on the roads. What about Pittsburgh? You like the Penguins tonight?
That game is weird, dude. I will say probably one of the easier looking bets on the board, I would say, are the Kings today. Which is weird because they've been playing really, really good hockey. They just ran into a tough spot game against the Sens where they dropped one. They've dropped like 2 of 3, but again, like they've been, or the Pens ran into a tough game against the Sens, but they've actually been playing somewhat better if you actually watch them. The Kings have been absolutely rolling. So now they're in this weird like minus 140 spot on the road. Kind of feels a little trappy to me.
Yeah. I like the Penguins. Surprised to see so many people betting them on Pickett here.
I mean,
Close to
still
50%,
Crosby at home. Still Crosby at home.
Good point.
Some respect.
Still the Penguins. Yep. All right. So we'll
total,
probably stay off that puppy.
Total of 5.5 for the Pens is crazy.
It's low.
Crazy. Yeah. You do not get many Penguins totals at 5.5 really ever. And obviously it's a big Kings tax, but something's going to happen. I think Ned's a net for the Pens tonight. I could be wrong. Correct me if I am, chat. But regardless, you're probably getting a low-scoring Kings-type hockey game, and the Pens will slow them down too.
Okay. All right. I'm looking to see if they've added any other cool hockey squares up on the boards. Doesn't look like it.
Love some goals allowed squares to pop up on board. But
So,
it looks
same.
like we're not getting that.
Nope. All right. What else on the ice? You like anything in your Tampa Lightning game against the Moose Ship Blue Jackets?
That game scares me a lot. I'm not going to lie to you, Krabs, because Lightning are coming back home after their super long West Coast road trip, which Vasi didn't play that last game. So, like, usually when Vasi comes off a long day of rest, like, I want nothing to do with fading him, period. So I'm not going to do that. It's the only reason there's not like a CBJ plus 1.5 on the card. But coming back after that long West Coast road trip, and the Blue Jackets are notably the greatest first period team of all time. So I think they might come out a little firing, and this game gets kind of slow. These are typically the spots where the Lightning struggle, so I would not be surprised the Bolts drop this game. But this looks like, I would say, one of the more obvious overs on the board too, that I think will find its way under.
Okay. Sneaky under. You're worried about your Lightning. Columbus coming in off of 4 straight L's. Maybe they catch them sleeping. Maybe the Lightning are a little fat, happy, complacent here. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We got a subby coming in. Flynn, 3415 coming in, resubbing. What a beast. What a beast. Appreciate you, my man. W's. Okay. Anything in the Carolina Islanders game? There's a bunch of fat favorites on the ice tonight.
Mushy game.
Okay. What about the Rangers and Predators? Cannot ignore the Preds up to -150 in this game. But both teams have been playing bad. But only one team's record is actually atrocious, and it's the Preds, who've just been a clown show this year so far. Is it the Preds?
I don't really think the line is that weird, like people are saying it is, because the Rangers are a fucking train wreck. So, I mean, I have no desire to bet anything in this game, and that's saying a lot because I'm betting on the Sabres-Habs game and taking the team that's lost 10 in a row. But, yeah, keep me far, far away from this one.
Okay. Devils, St. Louis.
Everybody's on the -150 Devils today, which I guess they've gotten steamed up since then. But
sheesh,
the Mikey system, everybody's on the Devils when they're decently fat favorite, not the biggest favorite, and they're playing the biggest coin-stealing team maybe in the history of hockey.
Yep.
I feel like it's kind of a telegraphed outcome.
Yeah, it might be a little too easy for the Devils there. Okay. They are catching some steam there. Got to respect it. So definitely not fading. All right. What about Boston, Calgary? Look at some of these late night games. We got a couple left. Anything in Boston, Calgary? Looks like Calgary's catching about 10 cents of steam here at home.
Yeah. We get Dustin Wolf in net tonight, which is cool. But unfortunately, he just shut out the reigning Cup champions, and the Panthers in his last start. So can't go with backing him as much as I would love to against the Moose Bruins. I can't push the button.
All right. 2 more games. Ottawa, Seattle. Any thoughts on this game? Ottawa catching 10-ish cents of steam, as they probably should, off of 3 straight wins. Seattle struggling. They've lost 3 of their last 5 right now.
Another one. That total is like damn near at 5. Like it's 5.5 juiced fat to the under, which is absolutely insane to me. I know the Kraken have been getting, as far as totals go, like a lot more line respect, I guess, because I was looking at that last game they played against the Lightning. They had no Vasi, like Johansson was in net. The Lightning were missing a bunch of defensemen. That total was still at 6, but like now they're playing the Senators at home, which granted the Sens did shut them out last time. 5.5 total, almost 5 is crazy to me. So like I don't know if I want to go with the under just because it's kind of the numbers we've been seeing ish with the Kraken lately. Plus you have that game that was just about a month ago. That was 3-0 Senators, but it's probably the Kraken. I would not mind getting involved with them. But you're probably getting a strong defensive performance for them as a part of it.
Okay. Weird total. I'm with you. Anything in Winnipeg, San Jose, late night?
Can't say I got too much there now.
Okay. Trent wants to know, is it the Lightning today? You said you sketched about it earlier, right?
Yeah, a little bit. If you're going to take a big favorite, I think it should definitely be the Caps.
Okay. Trent, maybe a little Caps, Memphis on the gridiron. 2-piece. Well, you could probably add a couple more legs to that, maybe making a Fugazi 5, but that's kind of what I'm eyeing. I'll probably have that 2-piece locked in if I had to guess. If I was a betting man, I'd say there's a good chance you see that on my picket. All right. Jovan, that's enough ice time. You think we talked enough about the Cup game as well tonight? I didn't really get your thoughts on the sides, but I kind of was picking up some Bucks lean a little bit.
I mean, maybe a little bit. I don't really.
Okay.
I'm not going to place a side or total in that game. I really don't care.
Okay.
It is pretty odd, though. I don't think any Bucks tickets and the lines move towards them just a tad, but
okay.
I don't really have a side or lean in this game.
Okay. All right. I lean OKC. I might not bet it. I think that's a pretty good parlay piece, though, as well. If the Caps weren't looking at me funny or Memphis, I would probably be reeling them in and getting them involved, to be completely honest. But yeah, definitely a little sketch, and have not seen a lot of Bucks action.
Yeah,
I've not seen a lot of Bucks action.
Definitely
All right.
a shit ton less Bucks tickets than Bears tickets.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Not even close.
Let's hope they're not both equally as Moose should have bets, right? Yeah. God, the fucking Bears, dude. What are we doing? What are we doing? Putting our hard-earned coins on the Chicago Bears.
That'll work.
I'm happy I broke my rule. Goots, I know you're supposed to keep me in line, not breaking these rules, but 2 bets in one game, the under saved me there. That was a great play. Shit. That Bears team's a joke. Joke. Enough talking about them. Let's talk about winners for tonight. Let's go look at the CBB boards. Okay, the people deserve it. It's not a Super Tuesday. It's not a loaded college basketball slate on a Tuesday, Jovan. It ain't much, but it's honest work. And there's at least a couple games worth talking through that we're not on the sharp report. So let me throw a couple at you. If you got plays, let me know. If not, we'll move. We'll groove. Okay.
Sure.
Start out with the Howard Bison +2, looking like a very sharp play. Everybody on earth is on him, probably because it's the early game, right?
Yeah.
3:30 p.m. Eastern. If it wasn't an early game, people wouldn't be betting it, which makes me think I wouldn't mind taking Howard anyways. Sure, it might be a little forced, but I do think down to 2 from 2.5, 3 at home in this game against the Drexel squad that's overperformed in my opinion. They've won 3 of their last 4, but they haven't played anybody. I think it's Howard here at home coming off a win. Maybe they have minimal confidence. This Howard team was solid last year. They have a good coach. They don't have the talent they had last season, but coming off that win against UNC Wilmington, I'd say I definitely lean that way, but probably not confident enough to bet.
Yeah, I don't join the daytime standalone Twitter PODs, so I'll definitely not be breaking my rule and taking Howard here. But
yeah, those don't hit.
Probably lean that way. Yeah.
Did we talk about the Florida game yet? We did. We'll bring it up again though. DePaul, St. John's. Jovan, I know you got some thoughts on that game.
Yeah, a little bit. Line's creeping towards DePaul, down to like +11.5 now. I don't think anybody really thinks DePaul is good. I really don't either. But in a game like this, where defense is going to be few and far in between on both sides, I find it hard to trust St. John's in the spot. It's kind of tough because I feel like DePaul, when they're at their best, like they struggled for a little bit against Texas Tech, I guess, because they're really good like rim denial defense, and St. John's is the actual opposite of that. So I feel like this is a significantly better matchup, not just the fact that St. John's defense is not good to begin with. So I wouldn't be shocked if DePaul stayed in this game. And no, my team is not Florida, brother. I despise the Florida Gators. Hate them with a passion.
They're good though. That's probably why I think you like them, because you're talking about a lot recently.
Because I bet with my head, not my heart. They are easily one of my least favorite teams in all of sports, least favorite organizations and fan bases of all time.
We got Jet Rooney, Oasis coming in, dropping a resub. You're Clemson +12. No thanks. Love the subby though. Love where your head's at. I love the question. Please keep the questions coming, especially if you're subbing, right? But it cannot be Clemson in that game, unfortunately. And guys, we are releasing the college football pod either later today or early tomorrow at the latest, hopefully tonight.
Today.
We did record that yesterday, and rumor has it, Goots is letting me know right now that's going to be out today. W's. Appreciate you, Goots. Appreciate everybody working on that video as well. Excited for that pod to release so you guys can get our thoughts, opinions, our bets, our prize pick squares, our brackets, our thoughts on the college football playoff landscape and how they did the seedings and all that shit. We talk about, the college football playoffs, winners, everything about it for about an hour and a half. That should be out later today. Okay, on Spotify, Apple Music, on YouTube. And if you're watching on YouTube, please drop a like. Please make sure you're subscribed and have the notifs turned on. All those things are free and take about 3 seconds combined. Help us out and let us know in the comments on that YouTube video who you think is winning the Natty Champ. Okay, who do you guys are your Natty Champ winner? Let me know in the comments on that YouTube vid once it goes up later today. All right? I'm going to go through the comments and I'll reply and I'll see if you guys are sharp or not. Okay? Dubs. Let's move. Let's groove. WEA lads, we appreciate you listening, my man. All right? Thoughts on UNC Asheville and North Florida? I lean Asheville, but I've seen this movie before. That's a team that doesn't really respect coins too much. At least they haven't in recent years. I'll be honest, I haven't bet them yet this year. But them catching steam against a North Florida team that's pretty hit or miss. They've had some good games this year. I think they pulled off an upset earlier on this year as well, but they've also had some atrocious games too. Asheville has a good coach. I know they lost their big man, who was solid last year, but I do think Asheville's probably the play here, up from -1.5 to -3 against the Ospreys.
Yeah, I'll probably lean that way. Definitely no play.
Okay. All right. Let's scroll through a couple of these other CBB games before we get to the squad rides. I leaned Stonehill against Marist. No need to click on that game, though. I just thought that was a weird line, but I've learned to not fade Marist. That team gets 0 line respect. I don't know what the hell happened with that team. Whoever's setting the lines, maybe the Marist coach took his wife. I don't know what's good with that, but that team gets 0 line respect whatsoever, and they typically come through and respect coins. So I won't be fading the Red Foxes, although the line says Stony Brook. NCA&T. Didn't think I'd be bringing this game up today, but it's looking like one of the sharper plays of the day, and it's all over my feeds. Guys, I don't fade Coastal Carolina, and if I haven't made that perfectly clear, that's on me. That's one of those teams you can't fade because every time you do, you lose money. It's impressive. It makes no sense to me, Jovan, but we've learned our lesson. At least I have. Betting Coastal, betting their games and fading them. I don't do it. I can't do it. And typically, this would be a good parlay spot. Like I'd be putting this with Memphis. NCA&T has no reason to be laying 4 points to any team right now, let alone Coastal Carolina. But again, Coastal gets 0 line respect. And they come through and they cover more often than not. Even this season when they suck, they're still 6-3 against the spread. They're doing it again. They're doing it again. I'm out.
Yeah.
One of those teams you just don't fade. You can't.
Yeah. NCA&T for sure. For sure, weird line. Probably the play. I just can't get myself to do it.
Yes. Thank you for emphasizing that. 100% the play, the sharp side. If you want to go ahead and risk your luck, feel free. I just can't do it. Put them off to the side. Okay. I'm on UNLV. Good to see them down to 10.5, Jovan, on the road against Dayton. Good.
Sure.
What are your thoughts on JMU and Wake Forest? That's a sneaky, solid game.
Sneaky. I mean, good game in name, but if anybody's watched Wake's offense this year, I don't know if you would classify that as a fun one to watch.
Like, that's
fair. I can't get their offense together. They can't really put coin on their offense until they figure it out, especially in a game where, like, they're going to be forced to score a little bit because JMU is going to score and they're going to run out in transition a good bit too. And it's like James Madison's also really good at closing out on 3-point shooters, which not that Wake's like spraying consistently, but when you pinhole their offense to like one approach, and a couple teams have done that, they've just been pitiful. It's like everything in their offense looks like they're going through the whole shot clock and using every ounce of effort to get there. So like something's very off. So like until they show me that, I'm not putting coin on them. So I probably would lean James Madison, and not just because of the little line move their way.
Keep fading Wake until you see something different, huh?
Yeah.
I don't blame you. JMU's coach is gone. Best players are gone. They're still solid. Again, that's a program you just don't fade. You bet them in any sport, and you're probably making coins. It makes no sense. Fellas, I'm demanding you pull up the video in Shelly Gang posted by Ethan Zartiski. Okay. Well, I'm sure Gates can give that a look and pull that up here once we're done going over the CBB boards. For now, let's wrap up and talk about some of these games. Jovan, you have thoughts on George Mason, Duke?
Not too much, but I mean, I don't like betting teams in their last conference or last non-conference game before a conference slate starts, and especially when that game ends up being like the cutoff in a single week. So like they play, I forget who they play on Saturday, but ACC, like the actual grind of it starts on Saturday. It's like I don't know if I want to back Duke the game before that.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a big number. The number says it's probably Duke, although I hate laying 19.5. I think that's a baity, trappy line. It's like taking -2.5 in the NFL. So I'll stay off that game, and I got a soft spot in my heart for George Mason. I think they got a good program that's on the come up with a good young coach and some solid pieces. So, yeah, I'm good fading. I'll be rooting for George Mason.
Yeah.
Rooting for him, but I think Duke's probably the right side. Hate to say it. Okay.
Right.
Love South Carolina against Clemson. Has to be done. St. Bonaventure, Siena. Thought this was another weird line. Spreads down from -8.5 for the Bonnies, who are on fire. another pretty good program. That's not even giving them, what they deserve. A really good mid-major program in St. Bonaventure that every year is solid. And right now they're really fucking good. They're 10-1. Once again, the Bonnies are back, but Siena sneakily playing some better basketball. And we know they're a better program than they've showed, Jovan, in the last couple of years. They have a little bit of NIL. They care about their basketball program a ton. They're kind of like the Mount, where it's really all they got. And it's kind of their whole thing. They put all their money into it. So I think Siena, they got a couple talented guards on that team, 2 studs. I think at home, getting 6.5 here, sitting at 5-5 against the Bonnies is probably a good look. And I could see myself, locking in the Siena Saints. Great name at home, getting a couple points.
Yeah, can 100% go with that.
UNC, Florida. Go ahead and rehash this one. I do lean UNC, but I think it's the fake sharp POD. So for that reason, I'm out. I'm not betting it. Jovan, go ahead and reiterate your thoughts too, because they're different.
Yeah, I've done my best in college basketball to not bets. I have a couple rules. If there's a standalone game and it's a Twitter POD, I don't bet it. If it's just a big game overall and it's a Twitter POD, I don't bet it either. And that's UNC. But I do like the over in this game. Makes a shit ton of sense. I mean, that's one of the most obvious overs on the board with these two offenses. But again, kind of the reason that I took RJ Davis is because you have him in a system where like Florida wants to make him beat him or make him beat them. So like that is not only going to speed up the offense, but it's going to be a lot of volume shooting for a lot of the guards, not just him. And then Florida on the other end is going to be able to get as many offensive rebounds as they want. Obviously, their guards, including Walter Clayton, are going to do whatever they want. So high tempo game, a lot of offense. I think it's going to be flowing on both sides. And Florida, one of the reasons that I also don't want to bet UNC is because UNC is super undersized. So like Condon and Alexis and Ball and all of those guys are going to be grubbing, dude.
You're not wrong. Points. Maybe it's square. I don't care. Might be a better look than taking the fake sharp POD there in UNC. Okay.
Could be.
Okay. All right. I lean Seton Hall against Villanova, but I think they might just be rat shit. So I'll be sitting that one out and seeing how bad they really are against Villanova, another kind of rat shit team. Jovan, any late night plays that you're liking? I want to reiterate the Drake Kansas State under that I'm on, but besides that, don't have many angles. If you have any late night plays you want to run through or let the people know about, now's the time.
Don't know that I have too much.
Okay.
You did touch on that Stanford Merrimack game a little bit. I think I love Merrimack and I love taking them at bigger spreads because they have been, I don't know, that team that's such a weird team for a lot of teams to play. And they've been covering at a pretty good rate with those bigger spreads. But Stanford's a problem for them because you can make Stanford play slow and it kind of weeds them out a little bit, but they have the ultimate, I don't know, equalizer or not even equalizer, tips it in their favor by quite a bit in Maxime Reynal. It was going to be a matchup disaster for Merrimack. So I do think they get blasted.
Yeah, no Jordan Minor to hold down the paint for Merrimack anymore, so they might struggle against the Cardinal.
A little bit.
All right.
A little bit.
All right. What's up, Alba? Good to see you, my man. Thanks for joining in chat. We got a first-time chatter, YLN, coming in here saying, what's a good 5-leg for today? Well, we have a 5-leg specialist, actually, BookitwithTrent, who I'm assuming will be crafting up a Fugazi 5 at the end of the Surge stream. He's low-key been on Fuego in the month of December. I think he's hit like 4 Fugazi 5s, which is 4 or 5-leg parlays. So if you want a 5-legger, maybe you stick with Trent on the Surge stream in the next hour or two and see what he crafts up. He's been red hot. Also, rumor has it we're going to craft up the community prize picks boosted lineup on the Surge stream today. So I will make sure I'm on there pitching a square. Make sure you guys are tuning into the Surge stream right after this as well in the next 10 minutes. Pitch Trent a winner, whether it's prize picks or a book play. Bring the energy and bring a green square or book play, whatever the fuck it is, as long as it's green. That's all that matters. Okay?
Yep.
All right. Goots, were you able to locate that video that Trent really wants us to play? Okay. We are going to go ahead and move and groove. And although we have already went over all the leagues, I think our work there is done. Why don't we milk the squad ride and make sure we keep the streak alive, Jovan? We don't have that much time anyways. Why don't we get to it and spend an extra minute or two crafting up a POD for tonight?
Sure.
You in?
Yep.
Gootsy, run that shit. I want to see that damn train. All right, chat. 3 squad rides in a row. Not going to sit up here and act like that makes up for, the last month or so of Mooshit plays, but it's a start. Okay, it's a good start. Let's keep the train rolling, and let's smack another squad ride tonight. Why not us? Why not us? Plain and simple. All right. Jovan, where we start, and we got plenty of options for today. It might not look like the greatest slate on paper, but we got a lot of plays we like. That's for sure.
I think we might.
What are you in love with, man?
Might have to start with snapping the streak, Krabs.
Okay. All right. Let's put him in there. Sabres ML, 0 qualms. Was kind of hoping you were going to say that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Sabres ML. I think we got to put the Gamecocks in here.
Yeah, I was going to say, since we both have other plays in that game, I got the Sabres. I'll tip cap to your side instead of the under on that, or in that game.
Now, the real question is, are the Gamecocks +2? Pretty much everywhere, and I think the answer is yes, besides one place. So we're going to roll with 2.
Let's go.
For that number. What else? We could put in your West Virginia Memphis over potentially for a fun play.
Yeah, boots on ground could be the difference.
Boots on ground over, just like the Army Navy over.
Wow,
the squad ride that cashed. That's good vibes. We'll put that in there. I wouldn't mind getting the under in that Kansas State Drake game involved either. I'm not gonna lie to you. I really like that play.
I'm on that. I'm in.
Yeah, nasty under. We'll see how gross chat wants to get.
Yeah.
That could be 4 plays, 4 winners right there off the rip. Are we missing anything?
Scrolling through.
Is there anything we talked about on the slate that we're not bringing up right now?
I think those might be the big ones. That might be it.
Okay. I kind of think it is as well. Chat, do you guys have any other plays that you were in love with that we talked about today that you want to throw their hat in the squad ride ring? Now is the time. Speak or forever hold your peace. All right? Let me know. Yay Lads likes the Sabres play. I do too, man. I certainly do too. That's a good looking play. Maybe we run it here with these 4 plays. I mean, I don't know if I've been more confident in 4 plays for the squad ride poll than I am in these 4 right here. Gucci, why don't we run this puppy for 5 minutes, give the people some time to vote. We'll run it to 2 p.m. Eastern. 4 plays, 4 winners. Sabres ML, South Carolina +2, Memphis WV over 60.5, and the Drake Kansas State under 134.5. Okay? 4 plays, 4 winners. Get involved. Do not just sit there. Please click on the button in the Twitch poll for your favorite play you heard today. I don't care what sport it is. I don't care who pitched it. Click the button for the best sell job, the best play you heard today. That way we can turn it green. It really is that simple. Okay? What else, chat? Florida ML. See, that's where you lose me. Was the over 5.5 Kings Pens talked about? Yes, it was. Nasty total. Nasty total.
I don't want. Oh, wait, the under. Yeah.
Yes, the under. Yes.
Yeah. I might have to get to the counter with that, dude. Let me double check. I don't know if I've seen a Pens 5.5 at all this year.
Could that be a first?
Maybe 1 or 2. Let me see.
No way.
One against the Bruins. That's it though. So only the second all year.
How long ago was that too?
Thanksgiving. But I mean the Bruins, I guess, get that with a lot of teams. The Kings get lower totals, but they do kind of play up line respect wise to everybody else a little more than the Bruins.
Okay. Looks like it's going to be either the Sabres or that boots on ground over, Jovan, for the 2 squad ride options. South Carolina not getting love. That under on the hardwood not getting much love either. Okay. All right. Generational hater, Mikey Renee coming in here. Mikey, I hope you're doing well, man, because I don't randomly hate on other people that I don't know. Hope your life is good. Hope you crack a smile today, my man.
Taking a beating.
We can watch that video if we really want to.
Ooh,
huge.
Gootsy. All right, chat. Let's give the people what they want.
I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, so you gotta let me know. Because if not, then
Okay, chat. If you can't hear it, let us know in the chat.
they will
All
be
right,
able
we're
to.
gonna play the video. We'll give you what you want. Okay.
I don't know about you.
All right.
Let me know.
No
Yeah,
audio,
you
no
can
audio.
hear it, right? Yeah.
No, I can't hear shit.
Can't hear it.
That's why I didn't want to play.
Speech.
Okay. And that's why we listen to games.
That's why you go.
Well,
watch
on that
Frisco.
note,
Yeah, let's have Trent.
on that note,
Trent will do it.
we'll get back to the squad ride here and finish up this poll as we got about a minute or two left. It looks like it's going to be a 2-horse race, Sabres or the over between Memphis and Dubvik. Okay, 2 plays. Looks like it's going to be between those two, Sabres ML or that over on the gridiron tonight in the Frisco Bowl. Jovan, it might just be meant to be, man. The people want it.
Could be.
People want it. They do. Also, chat, do not sleep on that prize picks lineup, okay, that we crafted up in the NBA for the Cup game earlier. I can drop that link as well one more time in the chat, but it goes as follows. We've got Isaiah Joe, more than 1.5 3-pointers made. Isaiah Hartenstein, more than 34.5 fantasy score. Jalen Williams, more than 5 assists. Brooke Lopez, more than 22 fantasy score. And AJ Green, less than 9.5 PRA. All right, I'll drop the link in the Twitch chat one more time. Bada bing, bada boom. All right.
We're not snapping streak today. Can't believe we're not snapping streak.
I know, it's pretty soft.
Sharman.
It is what it is.
Sharman.
The people want to play on the gridiron, boots on ground. That's what they want. Chat, get those votes in. You got about 10 seconds left. I voted for the Sabres because when Jovan says a play's hidden, I listen. And I'm clicking that button on the ice, just like the Panthers last night. Okay? Get those votes in, chat. You got about 10 seconds. And if you missed TMA earlier today with Trent and Mikey, you can always go back and rewatch on the YouTube. And you guys know we're also live on YouTube as well during this, along with Twitch. And we've got the Surge stream starting up right after this as well. Please pitch Trent a winner. Whether it's prize picks or a book play, give Trent a great sell job, bring the energy. And we're going to craft up that community boosted prize picks lineup that goes on the app promo tab on the Surge stream as well this afternoon. Okay?
So soft.
And it's going to be the over.
So soft.
On the gridiron, Jovan. That's okay. Look, we like all these plays up here. We'll be okay.
Yeah.
But good reminder for chat. Do not let those other 3 plays get swept. That did not win the poll. Okay? Jovan, I know you wanted the Sabres on the ice. I know you wanted to bet the streak. Don't worry. We're still taking it. All the OGs and chat, I'm sure, are going to tail as well. Okay? I'm not worried about it. All right? 4 plays, bet them all. Yep, Aloha bets. You're not wrong. As long as it's responsible, that's all we ask. All right, we'll meet you guys at the cash counter when we see 100 points in that Memphis WU game.